I worked in the medical community. I have all my life. But I didn't know about the inequities of lung cancer until I was directly touched by it. And I'm telling you that most of the people do not. Once you tell them the facts, they're amazed at it. But the American Lung has just come out last week, and they said they approved this. The girl at the Dallas meeting was a Washington, D.C. representative, and she took it back. So American Lung is now going to rededicate. They're going to restructure. And they said their commitment was for at least 5 years, and they may go to 10 years of creating the base with public service announcements and restructuring American Lung Association to make lung cancer their primary focus. So this is a huge step for us. If they can do that, if they can come off with the public messages, the foundations can build on that. But when I'm talking with individuals or when I'm talking with other corporations, a lot of times when the question is, well, what's the American Cancer Society doing about this? What's the American Lung Association doing about this? And when you tell them they don't really do anything except for focus on tobacco control, they look at you like, well, I'm not quite sure what you're telling me as Lori Monroe from Bowling Green, Kentucky, carries any weight. You know, if it's a real epidemic, if it's a real problem and being ignored, why are these institutions, these larger organizations, why are they not doing anything about it? So now we're going to have that validation from a huge organization. One thing my foundation has been able to do, we've only been in existence for about a year, but we've received our first corporate sponsor, and it's going to be OPI, and we're very excited about this. It's going to be called Breathe Life. The color is blue. And at first I hated that because it just made me think of, oh great, lung cancers are cyanotic patients, you know, with blue fingers. But they tell me that's the up and coming color. Hopefully. But this is going to be put in women's magazines. And it states that lung cancer is the #1 killer of women, okay? And it's going to be our first corporate sponsor for lung cancer, which we're very pleased on. They've given us permission to use this to go to other corporations and say, this is what OPI is doing. What are you going to do for lung cancer? Money begets success, and success will beget money, okay? You have to start somewhere. We have to be able to get the government to do their part. We have to reach out to corporations. One other thing that my foundation has been able to do is we do what we call friend raisers. They're not really fundraisers, but we go to different towns and we will have a small gathering in someone's home, or we've had it at just a rented room at a hotel a couple of times. But the host will invite 20 or 30 people of not necessarily people that are interested in the medical profession, but people that wouldn't know this, okay, bank CEOs. And what we do is we give our story, we talk to them about the disparities, and we ask how they think they could help with this cause. And it doesn't necessarily have to be money, okay? We've been able to get our website put up with this. We've been able to get our corporate sponsor, Susie Fishman, who is the owner of OPI, was at one of them, and she said, I'll stand up and do this with my nail polish. We'll donate this collar to you guys. And she's going to do all the marketing. So, you know, we want to go across the nation and do that, and we want to ask people what they can do to get involved, how they can see themselves getting involved with this mission. So thank you. Are there any questions or comments? Yes.
I found it very helpful to have cancer survivors involved
agree that most lung cancer is caused from tobacco, but I also believe that you can't hinge it all on that. You know, that would be like American Heart Association say, we're not going to put money into cardiac research or developing, you know, better treatments for heart disease. All we're going to teach is about better exercise and better diet control. You know, we have to do research as well. Have any of you been able to create advocacy bases within your institutions or within your own areas? Go ahead.
So, again, I think I speak for all of us. We applaud you bringing your story again and leading the efforts. And as we talked yesterday, I think one of the things we could do, and I challenge everybody here in this room, is that we as thoracic surgeons who do take care of lung cancer really have the grassroots in our hands. I mean, you help from your standpoint. You go to the government, and some of us don't have time to talk to our own lawmakers, but we actually hold the grassroots in our own hands, and we should be starting these groups and having programs in November for Lung Cancer Awareness Month. And as we said yesterday, actually November is a horrible time because it follows right after breast cancer, and nobody wants to hear any more cancer talk. If people are willing here, and I don't know how it is to change it, we said, April will be a great month. It's a, fresh time, fresh start. So if there's people here who really want to help forge this effort and making the new changes, let's change Lung Cancer Month to April. It's a great time. I do a couple little things. In November I go to church, and I sit out in front of church and I exchange T-shirts for their packets of cigarettes. And that's a horrible time in November because I'm sitting out in the cold, and it rains and snows, and it's not a great time. So April will be a much better time. And also, the funding, it doesn't bring big money, but you get your patients to talk a little about lung cancer. They, again, it's sort of nickel and dimes, but after you get the nickels and dimes, it adds up to $1 and $10, and you get the funding for little basic projects in your own research lab or clinical projects, and that's how we will, get, not the big money, but at least at our own. So, no question, but I think I do challenge everybody here. I think it's really best for us to start that within our own programs and to be more active November or April during Lung Cancer Awareness Month, and really do get your groups together and get your patients together to talk about this. So.
Right, and that's our kickoff on this is going to be in April. Because we have elected not to, November is Lung Cancer Awareness Month, but it's a bad month. People are coming off of breast cancer, and then the next thing is they're getting ready for Christmas. They don't want to hear about cancer anymore. So we've just elected ourselves to treat April and May our month. And if anybody here would like us to come to your group and put on the friend raiser, we'd be more than happy to get advocacy base started.
Lori, I really want to congratulate you for resuscitating the American Lung Association on this endeavor, because to me it's been a moribund institution. Their office in our city is closed and shuttered and just doesn't seem to exist at all. So this is really a wonderful thing. I just want to give a little example of what I was able to do with the partnership of